Welcome to Purpose Pivots, conversations about aligned change. I'm Irina Young, a certified purpose coach, and I cannot wait to welcome Marcela Jimenez to today's conversation. She earned her MBA from Wharton and then climbed the investment banking ladder. 8 years later, a VP at Goldman Sachs, she was seeking more purpose and alignment. She moved into strategy and operations at Google, and 7 years later, she was looking for a bigger shift. And this last pivot led her to her new career in hospitality. She now owns two wine bars in New York City. Oh my goodness, Marcella, I cannot wait to hear about your story because those are quite some pivots.
Thank you. I mean, and hearing you say it, because no one has narrated my life like this, it's like, oh, yeah, I did that. And now it's so different.
I feel like everyone must be thinking you had what many would call a dream resume, right? Wharton, Goldman VP, Google. Let's start from the beginning. What drove you towards that sort of a path?
Yeah, I think the high achiever in me has always been present. From an early age, I wanted to be the best at school. I loved numbers, I loved math, and was always on this path of like valedictorian. My parents always encouraged me to
Mm-hmm.
dream big. Like there was no limits to what I could do, but there was always like a pressure embedded
Mm-hmm.
in that. It's exciting to dream big and think of like, oh, I'm going to go to the best business school. Oh, I'm joining the best investment bank. Oh, I now move to Google. Like, obviously, those seems like great accomplishments, but there's a lot of pressure behind all of
Yeah.
those. And I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest lesson that I'm still working on, which is how do I enjoy my life more and not just do things because you're supposed to do them or because it's the right thing to do.
So it sounds like you had a little
Yeah.
bit of external pressure and some internal drive as well, or do you feel like that internal wanting to be valedictorian
Yeah.
came from the fact that there were sort of these big goals set for you?
I don't think my parents didn't tell me you have to go be an investment banker. They didn't
Yeah.
even know what that was. But yeah, it definitely there's that internal drive. I'm a hard worker. I cannot sit still. But being at these companies at school, like there's some sacrifices that you
What
have
are
to
some
make.
of those sacrifices?
I would put them in two buckets. One is
Mm,
relationships, or just mainly like your personal
hmm.
life. Like when I joined Goldman, I was set on being the best and getting promoted and growing, and that led to working
Hmm.
7 days a week.
Hmm.
Um, I lost touch with so many people because I could maybe show up Friday at
Right.
10 p.m. to a dinner or to something. So, like, for many years, I sacrificed personal relationships. I didn't have a boyfriend. I didn't have time for
Yeah.
anything. And the friends that I kept were people that have known me from childhood. I was lucky enough that two of my best friends from
Hmm.
home lived in the
Mm,
city. And then the second bucket is
mm,
health. At Goldman, like high stress, burnout, that led to GI
yeah.
issues. And then at Google, it was a combination of Google is a magical place, and I think you would agree. But as you grow, as you become more senior, there's no escaping the
Right.
politics. There's no escaping the hamster wheel
Yep.
and the stress
Yep.
again.
Up until a certain point, at least for your career, has felt very external, right? It's like the big name companies, climbing the ladder, the validation of the promotions, things like
Yeah.
that. So you mentioned the word success and feeling successful a few times. Did you feel successful in these roles and companies?
I love that question. I did achieve those feelings of
Hmm.
success and fulfillment um, throughout my career in corporate America. And then many times you lose that
Mm.
feeling because you got promoted. Like there's things that change, and then you find yourself like in a new a video game, like in a
It is like a
new
video game.
level
Yeah.
of the game.
So you had these intense moments in those careers. So you were 8 years in finance, 7 years at Google, and you sort of felt that lack of purpose again. That can be really confronting. What did that feel like for you when you hit that point again, the second time?
Yeah. So it was ironic because it was like, oh my God, you're at Google. Like that's as good as it gets. It's a fun company to work for. They're doing such exciting things, and like you cannot be happy here. Like, are you gonna be
Right.
happy anywhere? In the middle of my like, I call it midlife crisis, but I'm not even there. I'm not even there. I'm still allowed to have a midlife crisis, but I was burnout at Google. I had also had gone through a crappy relationship, or like someone that you thought would have been the
Ooh.
one and then broke up with me. But
It's all
anyway, I was
crumbling
going through
down. Oh
all
my
of
God.
that. So I know this amazing astrologist, and she's Colombian. I can give her a
Give
shout
her a
out
shout
later.
out
But
now. Why not?
I her name is Juliana Quintana, and what I loved about it is that I felt like I was talking. I mean, similar to you, but I felt like I was talking to someone that I've
Mm,
known my entire life. And I was like, oh, I want to see this lady
mm.
again, Juliana, because I don't know, I would like some guidance from the stars. So I booked an appointment in January and her availability was July. And I'm like, okay, let's book it, whatever. So you
Forget about
forget
it.
about it. So those first 6 months of that year was like, I'm done with this job. I need a change. And in the back of my head, I had always, no, since like 2018, I started saying, "Oh, when I retire, I wanna do like something in hospitality, maybe like a restaurant, a wine
Mm.
bar." And then because it was a retirement dream, it was like, well, maybe somewhere in the Mediterranean, something sexy and fun. So that was my thing. And then somehow in my head, Mallorca, which is a place I've never been to, got in it. That year after this breakup and all this thing, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna book a trip to Mallorca and I'm
I
gonna
love that.
see what
I
this
love
is.
that.
I mean, maybe I need to move to
Wow.
Mallorca. Funny enough, while at Google, I used to work from the cafes, and I met the manager of the cafes one day because I needed a charger. I'm like, oh, you're the manager, you have a laptop. So we got talking, and he was from Mallorca, and
Oh.
I told him like, oh, I'm going this summer. I have this crazy dream. And he's like, no, wait, that's my dream. And I'm like, no, that's my dream. So it was funny. It was cute. From that moment on, I would say hi to him every time he would give me some recommendations for my trip to Mallorca. So again, come summer, pack my bags by myself. I've never done like an international trip on my
Wow.
own. Like,
So much
but
novelty.
I got there and Mallorca is beautiful. I landed in Palma, which is like the main
Mm.
city, which is a huge city. It's like
Oh,
400,000
wow.
people. And I'm like, okay, this is not like that like small Mediterranean vibe that I was looking for. And I explored some of the other towns and I'm like, well, these towns are like 100 people. So it's like two
Right.
extremes. So I love that. But I came back and I'm like, well, maybe I'm not opening a wine bar in Mallorca anytime soon. My astrology session was the day after I got back from
Oh,
that trip.
this is juicy.
So I sat down with Juliana, and it was just like a catch up to see where the sky
Yep.
was at that moment and all that. We talked about that shitty boyfriend, and she's like, "Okay, let's get over this." I'm like, "Yes." And then she told me like, "Talk to me about your career and like what you're thinking." I was still at Google then. And I'm like, Julian, I hate it. I was interviewing at that time throughout like the summer and stuff. Even in
Oh my
Mallorca, I did an
God.
interview for some other team at Google. And every time I would get
Hmm.
close to the next round or being a finalist, I would be like, I don't want this job. I don't think it's going to be
Yep.
any better. So I told Juliana, I'm looking to change. I don't know what to do. And then she asked me a question. If you were not
Hmm.
worried about where you were gonna
Yep.
get money
What would you
from,
do?
what would you do? And the thing that came to me is like, look, I would do this hospitality thing right now here in New York. I mean, I'm not moving anytime soon, so like this is my home. And she was like, okay, I mean, all due respect, you don't have any experience in hospitality. Do you know people that you can do this with? And I immediately thought of the guy I met, who is a chef, who works in hospitality, who said he wanted to do something like this,
Who's from Mallorca?
and then who's from Mallorca. So maybe
That
that
was
was
the
the whole
Mallorca
Mallorca
thing.
influence. And then my best friends, they're a couple, they're both sommeliers, and I knew I could bring them over as a passion project. So I'm like, yeah, I think I have people. And she's like, look, there's a why right now in your life. You either stay at Google, maybe look for another job. And I'm sure if I talk to you in a year, I don't think you're going to be in a very
Yep.
different place. You go down this path, you put together a team, you try to build something and see where it goes. Oh, that unlocked something in me and gave me kind of the impulse or the push I
Hmm.
needed. And the next day, I called my friends and I'm like, I'm going to open a wine bar. Do you want to
I
work
love
with
this.
me? And they were
I
like, what?
can't.
yeah, okay, yeah. We went to see one of his friends who had opened a wine bar. Literally, I have my notebook and it's like how to open a wine bar
Oh my
101.
God.
Like he gave me like the steps of how to do it. And then the next day I went to Google and I walked up to the cafe and asked George is his name, like, would you open a wine bar with me? And he's like, what? I'm like, and he's like, who? And I'm like, well, you, me, and I have some friends. And he's like, yes.
Just
He's like,
like that.
yes.
Oh my
So
God.
that like started everything. And I started working on this project. It came from a place that I knew that the standard, let's get another job at Google or at wherever company was not gonna cut it.
One thing that came to me right away, I mean, there are a million things, but specifically in terms of doing it, your identity changed. You're like, I'm doing this. I'm opening a wine bar. And the next day I started taking action because so many people wait for the confidence, the certification, the permission to start moving. And you decided to start moving first. And then the confidence and the experience came after.
I put to work the skills that I had. So to open a wine bar, well, to
Mm.
open a business, no, you need money. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna raise money, um, but to that I need to develop a concept. So I just put my investment banking slash corporate like self to work. Let's put together a business plan. Let's put together a presentation, a pitch deck. Let's do a financial model. Even though I never had done a financial model for a restaurant, I mean,
You
I
could
could
figure it
figure it
out.
out. Again, like I've seen so many fundraisings in my past life, and I'm like, sometimes people don't even know what they're saying, and they get
Yeah.
money. So I just put my best foot forward, and like slides, documents, just, and it was a creative
Mm.
process. So it had like a fun component of like, okay, what is this brand? What do we want to convey? I've never done that. First of all, not only it's like
Hmm.
mine, but it's such a fun thing to do. So I was on cloud nine, and then when you start sharing this with friends and family and they get excited
Mm.
and they give you their money, you're like, oh my God. And like that was so validating after like some time
Hmm.
at Google of being like a little bit like pushed
Mm.
down. It was just good to hear that people were excited. And it's like whatever you do, I'm in.
They believed in your vision. And
Yeah.
again, your energy is that's what sells anything. So if you believe in
Okay.
you,
Ah,
they believe in you too, and they want to just be part of that. So I'm not surprised. I know you were surprised, but I'm not surprised that you were able to raise
oh,
what you were
thank
able
you.
to raise.
And thank you. And as all these like exciting things were happening, my Google situation was
Hmm.
getting worse. They layered me and hired this new manager. He was like, I mean, he got fired 8 months
Okay.
later. That's all I'm gonna say. As we started looking for spaces, and there were people that had to be paid because like the chef, I'm like, wait, I mean, restaurants are a very
Yep.
tight business. Like margins are very tight. There's a lot of expenses at the beginning,
Yep.
as you may building a place and setting it up. I'm like, wait, I can't leave my job just yet. But then I realized, like, fuck, I can say fuck. I'm trapped. I'm
Trapped.
trapped at Google with this awful manager and no one else cares and my team. So I had
Mm.
a team of 8 people. They were all
Oh my
miserable with
God.
this person. And I'm like, where am I? So I've been burned out. I've been stressed. I had never been depressed, like what you
Yep.
clinically define as
Yep.
depressed. Well, that was the
Oh,
new thing for
Marcella.
me.
Yep.
I went into a dark hole. And one of those things that the happiest moment was to get in bed because
Yep.
then
Everything
everything
was
will
done.
shut up,
Yep.
like
Yep.
shut off through friends and family and my partner at the time. He was my
Hmm.
business partner. Like I got the help that I needed. I started medications. I got a new therapist. Like all
Yeah.
the things. And again, one fit after the other. Like okay, I cannot leave my job yet, but I need a new job.
Mm.
So I kept going with the project with Carta, with the
Hmm.
wine bar, um, knowing that it would open, but it wouldn't be like my
Right.
full time thing. And then I started to now, not desperately, but like more
Hmm.
urgently leverage my network to find a different
Yep.
thing at Google. I was able to find a great
Mm.
compromise. It was a finite contract. So
Oh.
I went to another team, kept kept my level, my
Hmm.
everything, but it was a 6 month
Hmm.
contract. Again, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
take it. And if in 6 months I don't have a job, at least I bought myself
Yep.
6 months. And through that, I bought myself a year and a half,
Wow.
and we opened Carta. And yeah, so it came to life, and my partner quit his job at Google at the time and then became full time with us. My friends worked on the wine program with us, and we opened October 2024. By the time I had been 9 months into this new
Hmm.
role that just kept getting
Hmm.
extended. Um, and then, like, a year and a half later, it couldn't get
Hmm.
extended anymore. And my manager, who I was again with a good manager, so I found like some
Yep.
redemption because I got to love Google again a
Mm.
little bit and work with people and have fun and
Yep.
all that. But I also had a very fulfilling thing
Right.
outside, which I'd never had
Yeah.
before. And again, like, and a path that's where I wanted to
Yep.
go. And then I was confronted with, like, my manager is like, okay, this contract ended. We cannot extend it anymore. I have a job for you of being a manager and doing
Yeah.
the whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? Mm,
Hmm.
Like, I I've been preparing myself to focus on my
Right.
other, like, on my passion project. I'm not gonna double
Right.
down on
Right.
Google
Right.
again.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's when last summer I decided to leave.
I can only imagine, right? It's like you're sharing this after the fact, but I can imagine sort of being in it. You thought you made the decision, then there was this detour and you had to make the decision again. It seems like you had certainty. So was it, would you say it was like a hard decision at that point anyway? Or were you just like, I'm ready. I'm ready to say goodbye to the corporate thing and move to,
I mean, it was and it
mhm,
wasn't. It was because after having, like, the corporate safety network of a paycheck
yeah.
and insurance and all these things, and again, like, Carta had now been open for 8, 9
Hmm.
months. It was doing well, but again,
Margins.
restaurant
Yeah.
margin. I mean, like, whatever, extra repair
Done.
throws it off.
Hmm.
So, um, I made myself at
Hmm.
peace by crafting a little, like,
Yep.
financial plan for the next year. And but then you have the people in your
Hmm.
life, your parents, my sister, my friends, and everyone's like, "What are you doing? No, you're leaving
Right.
your job, and what are you gonna do? Is Carta making money? How are you gonna make money? What's gonna happen?" And then you have all these voices,
Chatter. Yep.
and that is the hardest part because I was able to, like, make a plan for myself that I felt my financial planner and myself and my lawyers, and
Yep.
I'm like, okay, let's make a little plan of how I'm gonna make it through the next year. But then all the people around me, they don't know the details
Yep.
of how I'm
Yep.
doing things, so they just worry and it's like, oh, you're leaving your job at Google to do what?
Right. Okay, so you're still navigating it. I was going to ask how you've navigated that because that is a big thing that people run into and have to deal with. I'm still dealing with that because I had a very similar, you're going to leave Google to be a coach. There's no computing that in my family's head. They do not understand how I could possibly come to such a conclusion. This is what I hear time and time again. People think I'm crazy. Nobody believes in me. People are making me doubt myself, question myself. So, what is it that is grounding you and keeping you moving forward? Because, again, it's kind of where we started around the pressure to move forward, coming from outside validation and praise and promotions and rewards. And now you're ready to move forward. And now it's the flip side of the externals creating the roadblocks and the slowing you down and all of that. Isn't that interesting? So
Yeah,
how have you
it is.
navigated that and how are you navigating it? Is it getting easier?
It is, and just to add to the mix, like, what I guess didn't help is as soon as I left Google, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do now? So I had a few ideas. Okay, obviously there's Carta, the business, and it's doing well. So I'm gonna double down on marketing and
Yep.
events and all these things. And then I'm like, maybe I'll do some consulting or we'll see. 2 months later, or like a month into me leaving Google, this new opportunity for another restaurant comes up. And it's hard to pass on, but no one understands why we're doing it so soon.
Mm,
Like, we're not even a year into the first location. How are you opening a second one? And, like, obviously no one has the benefit of all the information that
right.
I have, but, like, it was it was a hard deal to pass on from, like, a
Hmm.
location and rent and you always want to grow and expand. That was her goal, always to grow and
Yep.
expand. And it was just too good to pass. And I again, I did the math again, and I had the chance to do it. And that these last one, no one gets it. It's like, whoa, like you just opened a place, now you're investing in another one. Like, are you making any money? And I'm like, none of your
Right.
business. But so that is the thing. Like, you need to learn how to selectively
Yeah.
listen to the people around you without being
Sure.
stubborn, or without like not it's not about you needing yes
Hmm.
people. Like, what you need is to know your truth
Yep.
and why you're doing things, and have the right advisors, because that has been key for me throughout this whole process. Knowing that I knew
Yeah.
nothing about hospitality or opening a restaurant, like, I just made sure I had the right lawyers, the right
Hmm.
accountants, the right things. And it's expensive, but it gives me peace
Right.
of mind. So I I think the validation for me comes from the opening of the new location was on the front page of the New York Times food section,
That's
like
incredible,
things like that.
Marcella.
I know. So like, I'm like,
And
we're doing
tell
this.
us the name of the second
Um,
location.
so the first one is Carta
Yeah.
Wine Bar, which is a Mediterranean tapas wine bar, and then the second one is Aperitivo by Carta, which is an all-day concept. We take you from your morning coffee to your midday break with a healthy lunch, maybe a glass of wine, and then becomes a wine bar with a full dinner
Wow.
menu. And this one is like a global wine program. So I knew it was such an exciting project. It's a beautiful space. It's a great location. And when I left Google and I said I'm gonna do consulting,
Mm.
that was like s- killing my soul a little bit. Like, I did a couple projects, someone called me for another one, and I was like, I don't want to do
Yep.
this. And opening a business is hard. Being an entrepreneur is hard. Your to-do list, I'm looking at it, never ends. I'm sure you know, and by the fact that we've been trying to get together for the past 3 months, you know. But I don't know, sometimes you just have to quiet the noise and stay the course with purpose and with, yeah, strategy.
Yeah.
And I was going to mention something else about people thinking about doing this. So I I learned, not only because I was doing it, but as the business owner, I'm like, I make sure I pay
Mm.
everyone, but I don't pay myself. And I don't know if it's a woman thing, or, but I learned that many
Yep.
people do that, and you
Yep.
cannot do that. You need to pay
Absolutely.
yourself. Even though you know all the numbers and you know what's happening, you have to make sure you take yourself into account. And again, obviously, like, not bleed the business or like anything like that, which I'm sure smart people
Yep.
wouldn't do, but not paying yourself is not the answer.
I mean, I'm so glad that
So
you said that. Money is a whole other ball game, especially when it comes to women, and a lot around money has to do with the overall ability to receive. Women in particular are really good at giving. We have a much harder time receiving, and money is energy at the end, just like everything else is at the end of the day. It's an exchange, right? I pay $5, I get a coffee. There's an exchange that happens there. If you have a hard time receiving, whether it's compliments or support or anything, that may and probably will translate to money as well. So even if you have to do it consciously, like I will pay myself, do it because it's so important. And to your
yeah,
point, also a money thing. In this case, it's more of spending money, but again, it's an exchange. Money is circulation, it's currency, it moves, it flows. You backed yourself, lawyers, accountants, all the support that you needed to make your dream a reality. And I love that you acknowledged, yeah, it cost a lot of money, but it gave me peace of mind. It's also you investing in yourself and your dream. I really appreciate that you said that. I think a lot of people need to hear that. So thank you for bringing that up.
of course.
So, what a path, what a journey. You're still on it. Congratulations on the second location. I'm sure things are extra hectic now, but
Thank you.
overall, looking back, if you were to compare whether it's in your body, in your emotions, just life and work, what that looks and feels like now versus before, can you give us a few words or something to give us a sense of what it's like sort of on the other side of change?
One thing I'll say is I never look back.
Mm,
I left Google, and I didn't think this would be the case, to be honest, but there hasn't been one day where I'm like, oh, I wish I was still there, or oh, I would like to.
hmm. Yep.
No. And um, like you said it, it's hard. I'm not saying
Right.
this is easy and always like hearts and
Right.
rainbows and unicorns. It's not. And it's still a business and you still have to deal with people. And I am still growing as a leader and as a manager. There's things that I couldn't escape from that I still need to work on. But at the end of the day, it's
Of course.
mine.
Yeah.
It's my project. It's my baby, and it's I'm not reporting to some or anything like
Did you
that.
do your
And
perf bullets,
um,
Marcella? Are your perf bullets in?
there's no perf
No more
anymore. No
perf. I
more
know that
perf.
was like such a relief.
And again, it's like you have the gift of, I mean, you have
Yep.
responsibilities, but you also have the gift of this is your life and you're in control. Well, I mean, yeah, you have
Sure.
duties, but you're in control. So, I'm still working on things that pleasure versus
Right.
pressure and all these things of prioritizing myself, which we open with
Yep.
that, like my health,
Yeah.
my relationships, all those things.
Just as we start to close, we started with this notion of success. How has your definition of success changed with what you're doing now, or has it?
There's a very simple
Yeah.
definition in running a
Mhm.
business, like, oh, is is the month green kind of thing,
Yep.
right? It's not embedded with
Yeah.
performance reviews. There's not that sort of
Right.
bullshit. It's more like, okay, you're making money
Right.
or you're not making money. You're filling seats or you're not filling seats. So in my case, it's very black and white. Then there's the other is like all these things I'm trying to bring to this space, which is building community and providing people a safe space to unwind and relax. So we do these monthly events, a wine class, and then something more artsy like paint with wine or a vision board making activity for the beginning of the year. And when I see people just lost in these activities, having so much fun, and we get to give people that. And that is more success than, I mean, a green number. I need that. We have to pay for a living, and I like
Of
nice
course.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, my purpose in life is
Mhm.
making people feel relaxed and enjoy and learn
Yeah.
new things and explore. Like, I think that I'm lucky that I get to do that.
Yes, and it's so needed, especially in a big city that's so busy and nonstop like New York. It seems like it's a place for people to exhale, but also because I've been to at least one of your places, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. So you're letting people do that in a really beautiful environment. So we should collab because there's so many ideas for
Yeah.
like workshops and things like that that we can do
Love it.
together. We'll circle back offline, like we used to say. Marcella, this has been so inspirational. Your vulnerability, your self-awareness, your drive, your story is just, it's
Thank you.
mind-blowing. And I think
Thank
it'll
you for saying
resonate.
that.
No, it's true. That's what I got out of it. I know it's going to resonate with a lot of people, and I'm sure people are very curious to look into your beautiful spaces for some wine, for some food, for some events. So, can you tell us where people can connect with you and find your businesses?
Yeah, so both in the West Village. The first one, Carta Wine Bar, cartawinebar.com or Carta New York on Instagram. That's on 35 Bedford Street. Lovely Mediterranean tapas wine bar. And then Aperitivo by Carta, all day cafe, turns into wine bar, aperitivobycarta.com, or the handle is the same on Instagram. That's 6th Avenue and West 10th. Come and join me for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna come to your new location, Aperitivo, because
Yes.
I just love carta so much. So I'm sure the meal will be amazing at Aperitivo. So thank you for who you are. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
what you do, and thank you for what you share with the world. And of course, thank you for being here and sharing your story with everyone. I know it will inspire a lot of people. We'll talk soon, and I really appreciate that you were
Thank you
here
for
today
the
with us.
opportunity.
Of
I
course.
have so much fun with you. Thank you.